Hey, Abby and Savannah are also joining us, as is Natalie. I'm just trying to get our Facebook stream running. Running into a couple of snags with that.
Hi, everybody. Those of you who are joining us so far.
I think we're just going to have to deal with Facebook not being our friend today and just have fun here, and then we'll post it to Facebook after the fact, I guess.
Fine.
So, which is fine. It keeps it as a fun small group. So, Tara, Savannah, Natalie, Jeff, Chris, Abby, welcome. And let me bring in our video so everybody can see Morgan and Doug. Happy Friday.
Hi, happy Friday to you too, Andy.
So you guys we were chatting a little bit before we got started, but staying safe, staying healthy, and
we are thankfully staying healthy and safe. And, you know, last we spoke, when did I see you, Andy? When did we last do this?
Oh, man, I think, yeah, it was like back during the Tiger King phase of
oh, my God. Right, 12 years ago.
Yeah, 12 years ago. We watched Tiger King.
Well, we're good. You know, we've been writing a lot of music and trying to stay inspired. So we're happy to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. So, and we've got some fun new releases. So we get to, actually last time we talked, the Sauvignon Blanc had not even been bottled yet.
Wow, really?
So that's a fun new release for us. I'm trying one more, I'm gonna give this one more try for Facebook Live. It was being friendly with me again, so.
Okay.
But that's, you know, so you guys are writing more music, and I think, did you have a project that you were working on with like multiple times a day or multiple seasons?
Well, since we saw you, we did 100 straight videos. We did 100 days of videos called Quarantunes, and we're about to release those so people can listen to them on streaming and buy them on iTunes. But we had the fans vote on their favorites. So yeah, we did 100 straight quarantine-themed songs, and that was our quarantine project. And we've been, you know, doing our online shows. We do a show every single Saturday. In fact, if you're watching this and listening, we have a show tomorrow. It's going to be an Aretha Franklin tribute, and it's on Veeps. Veeps.com, Veeps.com, and tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're doing all Aretha to celebrate one of my favorite singers in the world. So we do shows every single Saturday.
Great. Well, and I'll get this. I was trying one last shot trying to get us on Facebook, but it rejected it again. So, well, you want to start us off with a song?
You got it. Well, speaking of Aretha, you know, Aretha, the anniversary of her passing is this weekend, and she's always on my mind, but especially around these, you know, special days that we think of her even more. So we thought we'd sing a little Aretha. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain of fools. For 5 long years, I thought you were my man. But I found out I'm just a link in your chain. You got me where you want me. I ain't nothing but your fool. You treated me mean. Oh, you treated me cruel. Yeah. Chain, chain, chain. Chain of fools. Every chain has got a weak link. Well, I may be weak, Lord, but I got inner strength. You told me to leave you alone. My father said, come home. My doctor said, too strong. I'm added to your chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain of fools. Well, one of these mornings, the chain is gonna break. But up until then, oh, I'm gonna take all I can take. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain of fools, one more time, yeah. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, yeah. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. Chain of fools, yeah.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was really cool. So we've got about 9 people in our room now. So as you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to type something in the chat and we'll go from there. From Savannah Jane Gilchrist, amazing. So I'm trying to put the right inflection on several G's at the end of amazing.
Yes, we'll be doing more Aretha tomorrow if you want to tune in. A whole Aretha show tomorrow at 6.
Put the link in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yes, I will.
Yeah, Natalie actually just commented, more Aretha.
Yeah.
So I think you're gonna have a lot of people tuning into the show tomorrow. And that is tomorrow at, what was the website again?
I put it in the chat.
Oh, great. morganjames.veeps.com.
Tell us about this Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, so this is actually a fun little project. This is the only wine that we make from grapes that my dad and I don't grow. So we actually put a vineyard designate on here, Ubaldi Vineyards. So this is grown over in Sonoma County and really kind of a fun departure for us from what we normally do. Now, I believe last time we chatted, we did our Chardonnay.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a different expression of white wine for us from Schweiger Vineyards, where you get a lot of, the fruit has very lush, ripe tropicals and some citrus aromas that really pop. It's a very fun food pairing wine.
Very tropical.
We actually, we got a voucher to do Blue Apron a couple of weeks ago, and we did this salmon sushi bowl with some avocado and green onion and lime juice with a Sauvignon Blanc. Was just an amazing pairing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So my approach with this, I'm pursuing more a New Zealand concept of ripeness. So we're picking this at a much lower sugar level than the other wineries who purchase this fruit. However, unlike New Zealand, I am not going through tank fermentation. I'm fermenting this all in French oak, but it's barrels that are essentially inert. So it's, we're not getting the oak characteristic, but we're in an oxidative environment. So we're not getting the reductive characteristics you do in a lot of New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs. And that reductive characteristic is what can make a Sauvignon Blanc smell grassy or like asparagus brine, or that classic descriptor that we all love to think about when we're enjoying a wine, cat pee. But that's New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs in a nutshell. So to avoid those flavors, since I'm barrel fermenting, what we wind up is more traditional Loire style Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah. Yeah, ever since you said that tropical, it's like pineapple, like it feels like pineapple fronds to me, and papaya.
And it's interesting too, like what you said about the tank fermentation versus the barrels, like that. I would, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that what gives it? It has this sort of a very sort of a good mouthfeel, like a little. It's not as acidic. It has this sort of. It reminds me of like when you get a really oaky Chardonnay. You have that thing. It feels like your tongue is coated, and this kind of has the thing where it's like it doesn't have that oaky presence of the Chardonnay, but this has more of a. But it has that sort of mouthfeel. It's like a thickness to it.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, that thickness, that viscosity, as part of our barrel aging, we actually age it on the lees. So the yeast that conduct the fermentation, when they've consumed all the sugar, they die, they sink to the bottom of the barrel. Well, their usefulness to me is not done yet. I actually will go in and stir these barrels once to twice a week. And the action of stirring them causes the cell walls of the yeast to break down and releases amino acids into the wine. And that gives it a viscosity, that unctuousness, that thickness, that in our Chardonnay, people associate that with the roundness that you get from malolactic fermentation. Mm-hmm. So we're getting that textural mouthfeel without actually having to go through malolactic.
Fascinating.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, Savannah said in the chat, definitely get a lot of banana, and I get that too. And that it like a texture is almost a texture thing in the taste, which is hard to describe, you know, which is delicious. And again, it's like when I try these wines, and I get to know more when I hear you describe it, because I'm such a wine newbie relatively, you know, and I'm so fascinated by the whole process, and it really makes me appreciate wine in a different way, and wines that I would not necessarily try myself because I get scared when I go out and stepping out of my comfort zone, you know, so it's nice to try these wines that I wouldn't necessarily order.
Yeah, and it's well, that's what's fun for me doing this is, you know, when I started doing these back in March, it was, oh, wait a minute, I can't host winemaker dinners anymore. I can't go to wine bars and tell my stories and meet new people. So this has kind of been a fun new venue to share our stories and share our wines and share some fun music with people as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, so this is actually, it's kind of fun that we're going to be doing this with you, and I think one of our other guests in the weeks to come, because we're really getting into the dog days of summer right now. It seems everywhere in the country it's hot. We're triple digit today, and
oh my
our Sauvignon Blanc is definitely a refreshing poolside summertime wine.
Yes, absolutely.
Totally. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, very.
And then also on my mind, because usually it's the first grapes we pick of the season. So probably 2, maybe 3 weeks away from now, I'm going to be getting quite sticky working on the 2020 version of Sauvignon Blanc.
Wow, really? Okay.
So yes, and I am determined we are going to have something amazing come out of the 2020 year.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Let's keep saying that. Absolutely. I mean, that's what we keep saying too. You know, we keep writing music and making new music and trying to see every possible silver lining of this time, and very, very thankful that we are in a position to be healthy and continue to make music, you know?
I think that is going to be an upside, is, you know, I've had the privilege of talking to a lot of artists like yourselves, and they're embracing this as, this is an opportunity to get my home studio worked up to its specifications and really start writing and really stretch our creativity as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, speaking of stretching creativity, before we go on to Cabernet, would you guys grace us with another song?
Yeah, I had an idea when you were talking about your dog, Andy. Maybe we should. We have a song with the same name as your dog, so we'd like to sing that for you, and it's off our second record.
Oh, great! Well, I put Jenny in the other room so she wouldn't bark along. I'll play it for her later.
Okay. Powder lines, credit cards, tables are turned. On the floor, nothing left. Jenny, you're out of my reach. You're out of my reach. Flashing lights, shadows ahead. Prison walls in your mind. If they fall out of my reach, you're out of my reach. Just give me your hand, your hand. Back in time, jumping lines, chasing the rain. Now the clouds are rolling in, and babe, I know it's out of our reach. It's out of our reach. Jenny, be still in the sand. Don't move. Just give me your hand. Your hand, Jenny. I won't leave your side, even when you hide. I will always try again. Ooh. Jenny, be still in the sand. Don't move. Just give me your hand. Your hand. Powder lines, credit card, tables are turned. On the floor, nothing left. Jenny, you're out of my reach.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll have to play that later for Jenny as a lullaby, try and get her to settle down. She's a 5-year-old golden retriever, and she loves to protect her daddy, which means the best way she can do that is bark her head off.
Yell, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
our little dog is the same way. Yeah.
we have our little Eunice, you know, looks like a little mini golden retriever because she's a Cavalier. Let me get her.
Yeah, she's asleep, but she gets very agitated when she hears someone at the door.
Very protective,
Oh my.
and she likes to yell, but she doesn't scare anybody.
Yeah. That's the thing with Jenny. She's, you know, the big fluffy golden retriever, the tail wagging, causing its own breeze. You know, she creates her own weather system when she's happy to see you. But barking,
God.
it's like, yeah, nobody's ever going to be scared of you.
No.
Abby comments, so cute. And Savannah, OMG, so cute.
Yeah, I could just eat her up. Tell us about this other wine.
Yes, thank you. So now on to the flagship of what we do here at Schweiger Vineyards. And this is our 2014 Cabernet Sauvignon. So we have been doing Cabernet since year one in 1994. And actually, this is what kind of put Napa Valley on the map as a region. And where we're located out in the Spring Mountain District definitely creates some of the most intensely layered Cabernets. Now, Cabernet grown up in the mountains can be very tannic and very aggressive. And I'll never claim to be a chef, but I'm a darn good cook. Someday when this is all over, I'm going to have you guys over and we're going to have an amazing dinner.
Oh, we would love that.
And I want to make wines that complement a meal, not beat it into submission.
Yes.
So we're barrel aging these for 3 years, not to make them oakier or toastier, but to give the tannins more time in the naturally aerative environment of the barrel so that they naturally become longer chains, more mouth-filling, and richer and rounder. And we can, by giving them time to do that, as opposed to forcing the tannins to polymerize, you can bubble medical grade oxygen through a tank and force this polymerization to happen faster, but the bonds are weaker. So over time, the wine is not going to age as well. So my goal is to take our time to create something elegant, round, and it's going to age for the next 20 to 30 years.
Wow.
Our 94 Cabernet, the first vintage I made with the family, is still aging beautifully.
Andy, can you remind me, what was that wine I fell in love with on our last tasting? Was it the Merlot?
Yes, it was the Merlot.
And you know what's so interesting is that I said this, and if you know me at all, you know I don't blow smoke ever, but you know, I love that wine so much, and I love this, and I would never order a Merlot or a Cab Sav. And this is so, like, it tastes like chocolate cake to me. There's something kind of like fluffy and rich to me, and it smells like,
Well, we were talking about the viscosity of the Sauvignon, and this, like, sometimes cabs can be like oily and thick, and
yeah,
this has like a lightness of a younger
yeah,
wine maybe, or a lighter, but it's got all of the. What I love about a really bold cab is that sort of that spiciness where you get that it's that layered flavor without, like, this doesn't have the, you know, cottonmouth tannin
yeah.
thing at all, but it still retains that depth and the spice, and it feels light in the mouth. You know, it's so good.
The fun of winemaking is the artistry portion of it, that, and this is fun for me as also a musician, that I can come up with this analogy. There's different expressions of different instruments. There can be different expressions of how you make your Cabernet. A lot of winemakers are pursuing scores with wine writers who want a overripe, unctuous, jammy character to their wines. I don't pursue that style because, to me, my approach is I want to make wines that have a sense of place, a sense of varietal. I'm making Spring Mountain District Cabernets from grapes that my dad and I have grown. I'm not going to force them to be what they aren't. I'm essentially making wine in the version of an acoustic set, not heavy metal.
Yeah.
But to achieve that then, so, you know, sometimes that unctuous, that jamminess, Doug, what you're talking like that viscosity, you get from a higher alcohol wine. And to me, those aren't as pleasant with food. I actually have a friend who's a neurologist who once explained to me that any beverage over 15% alcohol, your body immediately perceives as a toxin, and you go into kind of a fight or flight primitive sensation, if you will. So you're no longer, you get a 16% alcohol Cabernet, you're no longer in the primitive part of your mind, you're no longer enjoying it. You're saying, I'm in danger, I need to flee.
Right.
Yeah.
And on the other side, the tannins can be very coarse and very angular. And so by taking time for them to polymerize, I actually have a very fun video on our YouTube channel where I spend 45 minutes with ping pong balls and styrofoam balls, kind of letting my inner Alton Brown out, explaining how tannins polymerize, because it's a very dry subject. So I try and make it a little more fun and interesting, and I blow up balloons, and it's a wacky thing.
That's amazing.
And I love his way of explaining. I've probably learned more about cooking from him than anyone else, just because it's not about a recipe, it's about the principle, like just learning about why, you know, why foods certain things need to caramelize, like how you know, and his yeast puppets, like that
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
it's incredible. He did a Broadway show a couple of years ago, and I took my kid, and it was like one of the best shows I've ever seen, because it was all these concepts live and in person. And I love the way he explains these things. It's really cool.
Well, it's art and science together. Like, what could be better than that, you know? And that's really wine. It's art and science together.
You know, and it's so true. I mean, Alton Brown, 20 years ago, I had no interest in cooking, and watching his show, that's what got me interested. And I think that impacted my winemaking. It definitely impacted my public speaking, because I used to be so afraid of getting up in front of a crowd, and just watching how he interacts, it's like, wait, I can do that.
Yeah, totally. I really love that, you know, your wines are so even. They're so, there are no sudden jumps, and they just feel very like putting on something that fits you. There's something just very, very like, I can try something that I wouldn't normally try, and I am so eased into the flavor and the profile of it.
Yeah. I like what you said earlier about the chocolate cake.
Yeah.
I do a small amount of Cabernet Franc for our wine club members. And I was going to do a wine dinner at a tapas restaurant in Vail, Colorado. And it's also interesting how wine changes. Okay, here's the obvious thing. Different serving temperatures is going to impact what you smell, what you taste. Altitude also affects that. And so it was my first time tasting my Cabernet Franc at a high altitude.
Oh,
And in the Cabernet Franc, you get these lush dried herbs, a dried cherry, and a cocoa aroma, and a touch of vanilla. And the chef who I was tasting with, he says, it's too bad we planned on doing this with a savory course because this would go amazing with Black Forest cake.
yes,
And also he said, wait a minute.
chocolate. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so he came up with the idea, let's do a savory Black Forest cake. So he did a braised veal cheek, and he braised the veal cheek in some of the Cabernet Franc, served it over a vanilla-laced potato foam, and then topped it with a cherry glaze and sprinkled it with mocha powder.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a chocolate cheek?
Oh gosh.
Fantastic. So you've got the morganjamesveeps.com tomorrow.
Yes, we do. And you can find us every Saturday. We do an online show, whether it's on Veeps or Stage It. And you can always find me on my YouTube channel, Morgan James Online, and we're always making videos and music and
You put your website in the link so they can find all your shows.
yeah, sure. I will. Oops, just kidding. I can't wait till we can come out and taste your wine and see your beautiful place and have a meal together, Andy.
I know it's one of these things that I'd say the fun thing about this is, it's so funny. So I got to meet David Britz and the whole crew from Works. Someday I've got to meet Melissa. She is just so super to work with.
Yeah.
And it all stems from just not being shy when you see somebody. I was in a grocery store in Florida presenting my Cabernet to somebody there. And this guy walks by and said, "Hey, you're Brian Culbertson." And so Brian sent David to our winery. And then David sent all the Straight No Chaser guys.
Oh, yeah.
And then we started doing this. And it's like, I feel like I have all these new family members. And have you met Sarah from Striking Matches?
No, I haven't.
So she's going to be on in 2 weeks. And I had her on a few months ago. And they're just, she and, oh, shoot, I'm forgetting the name, but they're a duet as well. And they just have some amazing music. And it's like, I just want to have a party with you and Sarah and all the Straight No Chaser guys, and just let's open up a lot of bottles of wine.
Yeah.
Great food, and just have an open mic and entertain each other.
When this is all over and we can travel again, let's do it. Let's just get together. We'll so be in the market for a good hug and a great meal, and we can make music and we can have wine, and sounds amazing.
It's so strange what you said, like a good hug. It's, I was raised, whenever you meet somebody, especially if you're doing business with them, firm handshake, look in the eye. You can't do that standing 6 feet away behind a face mask.
I know. It's so hard.
We'll get there.
But we're gonna get there, It's just we'll get there, and
Stay safe in the meantime.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, hey, Morgan, Doug, thank you for taking time out of your day today, and you're on your way to a Good Friday evening. You guys are 2-3 hours ahead of me here.
We are 3 hours ahead of you.
Yeah.
And we're always so thankful to be part of your events, and we love everything you do, and to be continued. And we have a new band with Chris Barron I was telling you about. It's called the Tawdries. And
Chris Barron is the lead singer of the Spin Doctors, which
yes,
everyone remembers. I mean, they were one of my favorite bands in college.
absolutely. And Chris and his wife and Doug and myself, we have a new band, and hopefully Chris is going to be on one of Andy's tastings, and they're great wine lovers as well. And we've been writing a bunch of new music, so hopefully we'll be able to send you some new music in the coming months, and we'll see you at the next tasting.
Yeah, well, and I'll be busy with harvest, but that email exchange with you a couple of days ago, Morgan, where you introduced Chris, I was like, the spin doctors, no way. Uh,
Yes.
and then I got thinking, okay, when am I going to have time to do these again? Well, it's going to be November. And I love Christmas. I mean, I'm that guy who right now is posting on Facebook, only 20 more Fridays until Christmas.
Oh my God, I'm the same way. I start playing Christmas music like the second Halloween is over, and I don't stop until second week of January. I'm not kidding. I
Yeah.
love it so much.
Yeah, she wants.
I do an event called San Jose Saxmas every year, and I think our peak is we had over 200 saxophonists attend. So the guy who does all the arranging for a 200-piece saxophone ensemble, he starts in July,
Wow.
and I usually start coming up with ideas in September to bounce off my pastor for upcoming things to do in church. So yeah, so you got me thinking is that I'd love to do a series of tastings and performances like this a week or two ahead of Thanksgiving. Some people will say too soon. I say to heck with it.
Never.
Where we get together, share some wine, share holiday traditions, holiday stories, and man, there are so many amazing Christmas songs that your voice would just sound amazing. Have you done a Christmas album?
Not yet, but we're going to have a couple Christmas songs released this year, and we're going to make a Christmas album next year.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great.
So, in the works.
Well, hey, everybody, thank you for joining us today. Looks like Savannah and a few other people were tasting Sauvignon Blanc along with us, and hopefully some of you had some Cabernet.
Amazing.
Yeah, and again, Morgan, Doug, thank you so much. Do you mind playing us out with something to start our Friday off?
Play a Christmas song.
Sure. What do you want to play?
I don't know. It feels like, I mean, we should get in the mood, right?
Yeah.
So
Christmas
I was thinking about
time.
White Christmas, maybe.
Oh, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children they listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. This song was written in the summer, by the way. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
That is great. Christmas in August.
Why not?
Labor Day carols. Well, and hey, now Morgan, you get a pass when you come back around November and December and we do a show together. You can do a non-holiday song.
Fine, great. Well, I won't though, because I love holiday music so much. Thanks for having us, Andy, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Cheers.